Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and to a video that's basically all about me. I've had this channel now for 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and I never did like a proper introduction, hello, this is me video. So I figured, you know, no time like the present, we're all stuck inside looking for things to do. So today I'm going to be talking about my personal Disney story, going way back to the first time I was introduced to the parks, introduction to Disney in general, and then all the way up to me becoming a cast member in 2017. Then obviously it's 2020 now, so how it's kind of continued since then. Basically just taking you guys through how the mouse has impacted my life for the better. So let's start way at the beginning. Little baby Emily. I was definitely raised in a princess way. Like, I was shown the movies from a very young age. I became quickly obsessed with Beauty and the Beast, still my favourite to this day, and I wore like princess dresses and I had, you know, Disney princess merchandise, and yeah, I just basically got shown all the classics, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, like a lot of girls probably do. My mum is a super girly girl, like she loves all things frills and dresses, so she definitely got me involved from an early age. Then my first trip to Disney World, I was actually about to turn 4, so I was 3 when I first visited, and then my 4th birthday was when I was out there. And I don't have a ton of memories from that trip. I obviously have some home movie footage, and just to kind of like preface it, I was a super shy kid. Like, I barely even talked to my dad. I was that shy. I basically just followed my mum around, didn't really talk, and yeah. But in this home movie footage, I just have like the biggest smile on my face, and I love looking at it because I can tell I've kind of like let loose of it and I'm just loving being there. I don't have like obviously a load of memories from it, but from what I've been told, we went to Hollywood Studios, which would later become my home park on my first Disney College program, and all I wanted to do was see the Beauty and the Beast show over and over. My parents said they pretty much saw every single showing that day, and I think it runs like 4 or 5, maybe 6 times a day, and I just kept going back. So, you know, I always had that obsessive personality way back to when I was 4. I didn't meet like loads of characters on that trip. Again, I was very shy, but I did meet Belle, so I have my first photo with Belle, which is cute to kind of trace throughout the years. But that was my kind of first introduction to Walt Disney World as a place, a magical place that would soon become kind of the foundation of a lot of my favourite family memories. So we started going every few years. I went back when I was 7, and then I think it was 11 I was next there. It was kind of like a consistent part of my life. We also went to Disneyland California a couple times. I have no memories honestly from those early trips, aside from the fact that my sister was too small to go on Silly Symphonies, the swings, and at the time I thought it was like the greatest ride ever, so I was like, oh, this isn't very good for her. When I was 7 on my trip, 2 really cool things happened that kind of ignited the spark in me about the magic that cast members could make for other people. So the first one was in Disney Springs, or what was then Downtown Disney, and we went to World of Disney, my favourite place, later my home location of my second program, and we were just wandering around like the princess outfit area, and this cast member came up to me and my sister and was like, how would you princesses like to be the princess of the day? So they got us all dressed up in like princess fairy tale costumes. They took our photos, we got a certificate with our names on saying like a magical moment has been made, we are the princesses of the day, and I remember just thinking it was the coolest thing. Then a bit later in our trip, we were eating at the Rose and Crown for dinner, and it was right before Illuminations was about to go off, and we got pulled aside by 2 of the waiters, me and my sister again. Obviously we just looked really cute because we kept getting picked for things on this trip. We also were chosen to be in the like Beauty and the Beast storytelling show when they used to have that, where Merida meets now. Albus was Potts and Alice was Chip, so we kind of like really got picked for a lot of stuff on this trip, so it was a very important one. But yeah, they pulled us aside and they basically said, how would you 2 girls like to set off the fireworks? So obviously we were like, absolutely yes. We basically had to click these kind of like lightsaber kind of devices. They perfectly timed it, so when we clicked it, the fireworks began, and I was just stunned. I couldn't believe that I had this power. Me and my sister had set off this huge fireworks display in Epcot for everyone to see. Coolest moment, and yeah, it stayed with me to this day. I wrote about it in my cover letter when I was applying to my Disney College program, about like how magic was made for me. I wanted to make it for others, so it was really like core memory for me that time. Very happy memory. So yeah, when I was 11, it was just my younger sister, one of my older brothers, my oldest one didn't want to come anymore, and then my older brother's friend. Both of them, the boys, were like 14, 15 I think, and then I was 11. So I was very much like battling this cusp of like wanting to still enjoy the magic and all the princesses and, you know, fairy tales, and then wanting to be cool and fit in with them. It's kind of all culminated when my sister was desperate to do Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. She was 7 or 8 at the time. It was a very new thing in Disney World, so it wasn't like now you need a crazy in advance reservation. So they booked my sister in, and then they booked me in to do just like the basic like hair and makeup package, like not the full-on outfit, because I was like, oh, you know, I want to be cool, but I also love princesses and magic. And then it came to the actual day, and I walked into World of Disney where we had it done, and as soon as I was there and my sister was picking out her princess dress, I just said like, I really want to do the full package. So I ended up getting the Jasmine outfit. Jasmine wasn't my favourite at all. It was basically because it was like a crop top, so I thought it was like a cooler version. I could still do the princess makeover but have like a cool outfit. So yeah, that kind of summarizes my whole experience when I was 11 there. So I did the full makeover, but I was very shy about it, like almost embarrassed, but I was loving it inside. But I was like really wrestling with this, like I feel like I had to grow up but wanting to stay young. Don't we all? Then after that, the next time I went back, I was 14, and let me tell you, that was an awkward time for me. I hate myself in every single one of the photos from when I was that age. It was actually my 14th birthday when I was out there, so like 10 years on from my 4th birthday, and my parents bought me some Minnie Mouse ears to wear on my birthday, and I point blank refused to wear them. I was like, no, absolutely not. Embarrassing, I'm not gonna do it. I threw like a full-on strop about it. I refused, they had to return them. Cut to now, and one sec. This is just a small selection of the ears I have now. The rest are at my flat in London. I was very awkward on that trip, just generally the footage. I cringed at it so much. My sister was still like, I think she was 11 or 12, full on like living the magic. So she wanted to like meet all the princesses and do everything. And I was always just kind of like standing back like, nope, I'm too cool. I'm 14 now, I'm not gonna do it. And then we went to meet Belle. And obviously Bella's my favourite, so I really still wanted to meet her, but like I felt really awkward about it. So in the end I did go up and meet her, and the photo is the most awkward thing. I look like I just want the world to swallow me up. I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, so that was me at 14. I definitely went through like awkward like teenage phase of like, oh, Disney's not cool anymore, but also I still really love it. And my next trip in Disney World, again, we were like regular Disney World visitors, even though Paris was right there. But I don't know. So my next trip I was 16, and my brother came along on that trip again, and we kind of said we're there for the rides purely, no characters and no shows or anything like that. We just want the thrills. What a waste of time, honestly. We didn't even go to Epcot on that trip because we were like, no, it's boring. My mum was so upset because it's her favourite park, and it was like, no, we don't want to spend a day there. I really don't understand my past self, to be honest. However, something very important happened on that trip when I was 16. This is the time when I found out about the Disney College program, or the Disney Cultural Exchange program, which is the UK equivalent. We were walking through Fantasyland, and we basically asked for directions from this custodian, and he spoke in a British accent. And I saw his name tag was from Manchester, and my mum, being a very talkative person, was like, how are you here? I was asking all these kind of questions. We found out about this program where people from the UK could work in Disney World in the university summer break. So my brother at the time was in his first year of uni, I think, and they were asking about it for him. And we took the name down of the organisation that kind of ran it for the UK, which was called Yummy Jobs, and it was all kind of like geared towards him. He's gonna do this someday. But for me, I was like, I'm going to do this. Even though at that time I wasn't like full on swept up in the magic, I was very determined that I was going to work in the parks, because they've kind of formed such a base of my family memories and all the happy times we had together, and I loved being there, even though I was going through like an awkward stage with it. We then cut to I'm 19, and we go back just before I start university because I took a year out. And I remember it was like right at the end of our trip, we were going to Orlando just for like 4 or 5 days because we've been in California for the rest of it. We kind of stopped there on the way home, and I completely fell in love. I was just bouncing off the walls with excitement. We went to the confectionery and I got this huge caramel apple, and I was bouncing off the walls with sugar, with excitement. Me and my sister asked my mum if we could buy some ears. What a change from when I was 14. My mum was like, are you really gonna wear them? Like, we wore them every day. I got like the basic like Mickey Mouse with the red bow sparkly ones. Alice got pink, and I remember that trip was just like, I love it here. I'm obsessed. I never want to leave. I full on cried my eyes out at the airport on the way home. I also just didn't want to go out to reality and like start university and all this stuff. I was just in this place where I wanted to stay young so desperately. I just thought if I stay in Orlando, that, you know, I won't have to grow up which is just this kind of common theme that's threading throughout all of my Disney memories. So started university, it went a lot better than I thought, was loving the first semester, but I remember looking up on the Disney College Program website when I could apply to work there in my university summer, because I was like, I'm in university now, can I go next year? I actually emailed, I wonder if I still have the email. That would be interesting. I actually emailed them and said, I know it says you need to complete a first semester of university before applying, but I'm in my first semester, and by the time I finish, the application deadline will have passed. Can I apply? I actually have the original email here, which was on the 11th of June 2015. So this was before I even started university. And she said, "Hi Emily, thank you for getting in touch. Yes, this is correct. You need to have completed a year at university to apply for that particular program. If you have any additional queries, feel free to contact me." So 2015, I didn't end up going out until 2017, so I was asking like a year before I could even apply. I was desperate. And then yeah, in June 2016, so before the applications opened, I emailed asking for advice and what to do before I was such a geek about this. If you're looking to get a head start on your application, then I would recommend starting to prepare your CV and cover letter. So yeah, June I was asking was almost a full month before I could even apply. And then I submitted it, yeah, on the 25th of July, which was a week after applications opened. I was a keen bean, and I just kind of thought, you know, nothing's gonna happen of it, but I have finally applied for this program I've been thinking of doing since I was 16. Got to around a month later, I was at brunch with a friend, and I got the email that I had a place in the pre-screen interviews, which was crazy because the applications hadn't even closed yet. So I was just like, whoa, like I'm actually in the next round. Like I never saw that happening, and I told like my mum and my sister and my family, and I was like, this is so cool. Like I never thought I was ever gonna get even beyond the first stage. Little did I know. Obviously I went to the pre-screen, had the interview, which was a group interview, and I left and I very much was like, okay, that went well. Like I feel like I made a good impression. I feel like I kind of stood out, but I didn't want to get my hopes up, obviously. Cut to like 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm sitting on my bed and I get the email that I had a final interview, and from what I'd seen online, most people who get a final interview get a place. But again, I didn't want to believe that I was actually gonna go. So obviously I did the final interview, went to Disney HQ, and then I was at the gym. It was a few weeks later, and one guy I started talking to through the application process, he messaged me and he was like, I've been accepted. Freaked out. He said it was going alphabetically because he was in this group chat for applicants. I'd refused to join it because I was like, what's the point? I'm gonna have to be like that shameful person who leaves the chat and it's like, oh sorry guys, didn't get it. And then gradually he was updating me as we were getting closer to tea. It was the worst gym session of my life. I would do like 2 minutes on a treadmill and then stop and just stare at my phone, like willing the email to come through. And then finally my phone just popped up and it just had the email that said congratulations. I sprinted out of the gym and just like started hyperventilating. I was like, oh my god, oh my god. I didn't even properly open the email. I just rang my mum and I was like, I've got it, I've got it, I've got it. Like I'm literally getting emotional thinking about it because it was just the happiest feeling. Like it was bubbling out of me. I got on the bus home and I only kind of got halfway before my sister called me, and I decided to just get off the bus and run the rest of the way home, like whilst talking to her on the phone, because I was just so pumped. Wow. My mum was on the phone to me and she was like, so what role did you get? And I was like, I haven't even looked yet. So I looked, got merchandise, which was my top choice. So before this, I had kind of watched application videos and tips on YouTube about the program, but I refused to watch like vlogs, anything related to housing or, you know, tradition. I just didn't want to kind of watch it to then not be able to live it. But then after I got accepted, I went crazy with watching vlogs and anything I could get my hands on. I became obsessed with the tea party and was just absorbing all this content. I started a blog, and then about a month before I was supposed to fly out, I had a lot of spare time. I had no exams for that second year of uni, it was all coursework, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel and start vlogging about the program and my experiences and kind of do what other people are doing, just kind of like a carbon copy but with myself, because I love watching it so much, so might as well. Made a few videos, and then when I was out there, obviously I was vlogging, but the intent was more to capture my own memories. It wasn't to like gain a following or anything, which you can definitely see in those early vlogs. I've considered doing a video reacting to my early DCP vlogs because I don't watch them. Generally, once a video is uploaded, I don't rewatch it. So if people want to see me react to the horrific editing and general camera choices and awkwardness, you know, please let me know down below. But yeah, I vlogged my first program and My first program was just the most magical experience. I don't know how I could talk about it without this video being about an hour long, but I was working in merchandise in Hollywood studios with one of my now best friends, Fee. We were both blueberries, which meant we had like the blue shirt, the yellow bow tie. We're also kind of called the squeeze breezes because we look like a Disney squeeze breeze. So for that I was working in, be prepared for this rundown, the 2 hub carts in front of the Chinese Theatre, Frozen Fractals store, the Indiana Jones truck, the Indiana Jones store, the Muppets Stage 1 store, and It's a Wonderful Shop. And then finally Tatooine Traders, which is the exit store for Star Tours. It was a lot, and then amongst all of these stock positions, which was like an inside post, or it was an area stock position, which was obviously around the whole area, or you could be doing vending, which is like with a cash apron, or you could just do like a regular register shift. There was basically so many different types that you could do, and I loved all of them apart from vending, but I have a whole video about my dramas with that. Had the best time, worked crazy hours. I think the least I ever worked in a week was 40, and the most I worked was 56, I think, or around that. I was scheduled 60 and I traded a few of them down, but I had a crazy time. I had the best possible roommate, Lana. We got on so well, even though there was a lot of days where I would get in and go to sleep and she was already asleep, and I'd wake up and she was gone for work because our shifts just kind of work like that. But generally we got on so well. I have the best memories together, like waking up at 6 AM and eating leftover Cheesecake Factory, because why not? Being the last ones on Main Street together at the end of the night when we've got our ear hats embroidered and just wandering around the glow of Main Street and just thinking this is all ours, trying so much incredible food. Before that I'd kind of just had the basic like burgers and fries and Mickey premium bars. I never really explored all the Disney parks had to offer because I didn't really know that it was a thing, like Disney food, which seems crazy now because kind of plan my trips around food. But I just had the best time, made so many amazing friends, and I was just loving every single minute of it. Like even when I was exhausted, I would literally go to the break room sometimes. I was so tired and bury my head like in my arms and just close my eyes for my 15-minute break. I was still loving it. It was very rare that I was like, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to work today. Like, just love the whole experience. Got to work with the best people. The area was incredible, even though we were completely overworked, and the coordinators even apologized to us. They were like, I'm sorry we worked you so hard, but you have also done a lot and done a lot of good. Like, it was kind of, we felt like we were appreciated by the coordinators, which was lovely. Just so many happy memories of like standing outside Frozen Fractals with my Olaf plush or my Sven pillow pet as the Disney movie Magic show was going on to my left, and I could kind of like hear it. And then as the show finishes, they play this amazing piece of music from Saving Mr. Banks, my all-time favorite Disney film, and I would listen to that, and then it would be the Star Wars fireworks, and I would kind of like close up, and then I miss it so much. Such a perfect program that I almost didn't apply for a second one. I just said like, no, there's no way it can be topped, so I can't do it. And then my parents were out there, and when I told them this, they were shocked because they were like, but you're loving it so much. And I was like, that's why I don't want to apply again, because it's only going to be a disappointment. And then my mum kind of said, if you had a really good cake, would you never eat a piece of cake again because you worried it wasn't going to be as good as the first cake? And I was like, no. And then I basically came around to the idea. Well, it didn't take much convincing. I just kind of needed someone to point out that I was being silly. So I applied a second time. I was working in Tatooine Traders when I found out I got the interview for the second program. Went back to my break room, told Fee like, yep, got a pre-screen again. She gave me a high five, and that was that. Came back home, and then within a week, I think, or a week and a half, I had my interview for my second program. And even though at this time I had like 200 subscribers, a load of people knew who I was at the interview, which was very strange because my channel was literally nothing. The whole second application cycle was just kind of like a blur, to be honest. I got on it a second time, which was incredible. I don't know why, but I had a lot of spare time in my final year. I did an arts degree, I did English. I think I only had classes 2 or 3 days a week, and the rest of the time I set my own schedule. So obviously I did all my work, but then I had all this spare time, which kind of filled with Disney and DCP vloggers, and that was when Chase Russell, I think, and Michelle Bay and Emily Enchanted and Sarah Beth and Janie, like all of these, like the golden age of DCP vloggers were coming up and posting so much content, and I was just obsessed with all of them. Literally watch them all the time. Then I was like, you know what, I want my vlog channel to be like this. I want it to be good and people to care about it. I still wanted to do it to record memories, but I wanted them to be actually good content that would stand by itself and other people would want to watch it, because I've always been a creative person and I've always written stories and blogs and stuff like that, and I cared about photography. And then I was like, you know what, why don't I put the same kind of level of attention and care into my vlogs and just see where it goes. It went pretty well. Over my program, my subscriber count doubled, which is incredible, and then obviously it's gone up since then. I hit 1,000 the end of my first program pretty much, and then now I'm on 8,000, which for like a year and a half difference is a lot for someone who isn't mass appeal. But anyways, this isn't a video about my YouTube journey, this is about my Disney journey. Second program, found out that my location was World of Disney at Disney Springs, which, gonna be honest, I was gutted when I found out because I wanted to be in a park so bad, and I kind of told myself like, no, like I've had the opportunity, let's have a different one. I'd worked in Hollywood studios, which I loved, but when I got that location again, I was kind of disappointed because I was like, don't know Star Wars, don't know Indiana Jones, like what's it gonna be like? Felt like I deserved a better location, which sounds so bratty, but that's kind of like the way I was thinking. People who have followed my channel know for a while that kind of my fears were realised. I generally didn't have a very good time there, but it led to me trading away most of my shifts. So I ended up working in all 4 parks. I worked in so many different locations. I have so many photos of these, which as a result made my programs incomparable because I didn't have 2 programs with good locations and good people and good friends at work. It was like a completely different experience, so it meant that when people asked me which one is better, I genuinely couldn't choose. Again, I made incredible friends, people who I still talk to so regularly and just love, and we had such good memories. It was just so fun all over again, and I left that program being so scared for the future because I knew that I couldn't do another program, I couldn't do another CUP, but I did have to go home and get a real adult job, and I was scared that this meant I kind of had to leave it all behind and kind of grow up. This is a thread that's going throughout the whole video, me being scared to grow up and resorting back to Disney. Someone could psychoanalyze me very hard right now. But as you know, I didn't let that stop me. I went to Disneyland Paris that Christmas for a trip with my sister and my mum. I remember telling people at work like, oh, I'm going to Paris for the weekend. And then I came back and they were like, oh, so did you see the Eiffel Tower? And I was like, no. Did you see the Arc de Triomphe? No. It was like, wait, where did you stay? And I was like, Disneyland Paris. And then I went back with my best friend Fee for a whole trip last summer, and I've still kind of got more trips scheduled. Fingers crossed that the world sorts itself out by the time my next trip happens. But basically, since I've got home from my second program, my love of Disney has continued to grow. I've become so interested in listening to Disney podcasts about Disney history, hearing more about the background of different Imagineers and learning about them, taking as much in as I can. Like, have this kind of endless thirst to learn more about the parks, and also the films as well. Like, every time there's a new film, I want to go pretty much opening days, check it out. I feel like I have this interest and I really want to just keep learning more about it. I'm so lucky that I live in a time now where it's kind of cool to like Disney, so I don't feel like just a big geek about it, even though I know I am, because a lot of people are the same. And if you're watching this, you probably have a bit of a shared interest as well. Which brings us to now, present day, where I am a 24-year-old girl who cannot get enough of magic and castles and Mickey Mouse. That's my story. Honestly, I'm someday hoping that I'll eventually work for the Disney company again. I would love that, to be in like the creative team, to be doing copy for Shop Disney is kind of like the big dream, but who knows. But I do feel so grateful and lucky that I had my dream come true not once, but twice, to work in the Disney parks. Like, it's definitely the coolest thing about me. But for now, I'm just kind of extending my knowledge of Disney and my love of it in different ways. That's what I love about Disney. There are so many different avenues you can go down. You can go down the films, or the music, or the parks, fashion, food. It's just kind of never ending. And especially for me, it will continue forever, I think. I'm in this for life. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I would love to see other people do their Disney stories as well, like other Disney vloggers, or even just comment down below how you got into Disney, how you started loving it, what you love the most about it. Feel free to subscribe for more videos. I don't have really like a main reason that you should, but if you want to, that would be awesome. I hope this was a nice break away from the realities of the world to escape to the magic for a little bit. I know I personally enjoy reliving all the memories, and I hope to see you at my next one. Bye!